Hey everyone, welcome back to the fish room. Today is going to be really fun because I get to share with you my newest aquarium, and it's definitely my favorite tank right now. But there's a reason it's my favorite, and it's not just because it's my newest or because it looks amazing, which it does, but there's a specific reason why it's my favorite, and I want to talk through that because I think it's an aspect of the hobby that not a lot of people fully appreciate. I kind of want to explain it a little bit more from my perspective. But first, I want to talk about some of the tanks that have been my favorite in the past. And you might pick up on a theme on why they've been my favorites. So first, let's start with the six. Now, let's first start with a 225 glass. For a long time, I still love this tank. It's a great build. It's 7 feet long, 26 inches tall, 24 inches front to back. I built this with a low iron glass front panel. It's got a lot of algae on it right now, but it still looks pretty darn good. And this tank has held up for years, many years so far. But for a long time, that was my favorite. And then it was this 650-gallon plywood aquarium for my monster fish. Hey, Samson says hi, by the way. And so does Bert and Gert. They say hello. But I love this tank. And then it was my 600-gallon African cichlid aquarium. And then it was my 200-gallon cube tank. And then my 125 mangrove aquarium with my albino threadfin acara. Ah, man, these guys are beautiful. And you might have picked up on a theme by now. My favorite tanks tend to be the ones that I've built myself. I really enjoy building aquariums from scratch. I've now built them out of plywood and glass and acrylic. And when you're done with it, well, I don't want to skip to the end here. Let's first tell you my new favorite. It's my latest DIY build. This 300-gallon acrylic aquarium. And this thing is a beast. This aquarium is 8 feet long, it's 26 inches tall, and 28 inches front to back. Kind of unique dimensions. The reason I built those dimensions is because that is the biggest tank I can have down here, but still get up my staircase for a future date if I ever move. So this tank can be transported and also rounded out to right at 300 gallons, which I like nice round numbers in my aquariums. So this thing is a really big aquarium. And, forgive the stand. I have not finished this yet. I've not wrapped it in a nice veneer. In fact, neither of these stands have I finished yet. I need to get on that. But moving on. This aquarium, this is made out of acrylic, 3/4 inch thick acrylic, which is some pretty darn thick acrylic. I have had a tank this exact same dimension. It's actually right over here. There's not much in it right now, so it's a little boring. But this aquarium is made out of 1/2 inch acrylic. I bought it used. I am filled with buyer's remorse because a 1/2 inch it's nowhere near, in my opinion, it's nowhere near thick enough. I have some sleepless nights because of this thing. I might get rid of it eventually. I don't know. I still spent money on it, so it's kind of a toss and turn situation here. But because of my experience, my poor experience with that tank, I built this thing to last. So I used some pretty advanced acrylic fabrication techniques to make this thing rock solid. And one day, if I ever need to build another tank, I might turn it into a DIY instructional video. But for now, I just want to share this thing with you because I am in love with it. I just am so happy with how this scape came out. The rock placement and the driftwood and the artificial plants. And yes, these are artificial plants. Real plants are nice. I can't keep them in this tank with these fish. These fish would just destroy anything green. They love their salads. But that's a great segue into the fish because that is the best part. This is a Madagascan aquarium, or Malagasy to be more proper. And what I have in here are 8 Paratroplus minorambo. the pinstripe damba. And these guys are beautiful. I mean, that turquoise body with the red fins, and their body shape is interesting too. It's reminiscent, in my opinion, of a marine fish. I mean, I could see this thing at home in a reef tank. Like, don't do that because, they would not live in salt water. But I think they look pretty similar to some saltwater fish. But I have 8 of these guys in here. And this is a species that is facing extinction in the wild. I love keeping Malagasy cichlids. Those are cichlids from Madagascar. And these are some of the, just to be honest, these are some of the more beautiful ones. This also has some paratilapia cichlids in it. Commonly known as a starry night cichlid. These are paratilapia species Marilambo. I'm not calling them Poloni, I'm not calling them Bleakeri. I will put a video out on that in the future, but there's a ton of debate out there. I'm sure I'm gonna get a bunch of opinions in the comments just by even mentioning it. But the best practice really for now is to just refer to them as the collection point. So these are collected from the Marilambo collection point along the Nosavola River. I have 6 of these paratilapia in here. I believe 3 males and 3 females. And as they grow bigger, because they're gonna get pretty darn big, I will most likely thin that down to a breeding pair, or I might, experiment a little bit and see if I can keep 1 male with a few females. There's some strong opinions on stocking when it comes to these fish, but we have some time before we have to make any decisions around that. So yeah, we have the pinstripe damba and the starry night cichlids in this aquarium. And we also have some denison barbs. This is, I love these fish. I didn't have really any other tanks that they could go in, but they're doing pretty darn well in here with these other fish, with these Madagascan cichlids. Look at these. These are beautiful. Look at those. More people need to keep this fish. They're beautiful and they need our help. But yeah, I also have some denison barbs. So this tank I am so happy with. I step back and I'm filled with pride, honestly. Not, arrogance, but pride in the work that I put into this thing and the results, what I accomplished with it. And that's what I wanted to talk about, or touch on at least. I think it's an underrated aspect of the hobby. When people talk about DIY, the biggest benefit, in my opinion, isn't the money you save, or your ability to customize the aquarium to your needs. The biggest benefit is the pride you get when you step back and look at your beautiful fish living in this amazing home that you built for them. And you just filled with a sense of I built everything about this. I built the tank, I've raised or kept these fish. There's other aspects, right? I didn't build the lights. I can only do so much. I'm not an electrical engineer. But it's an aspect of the hobby that I don't think people talk about enough. And yes, it does come with downsides and big risk, right? The downside is there's steep learning curves and they can be expensive learning curves. And the risks are, what if you build it wrong? Geesh, there's actual danger involved if you build a big aquarium and it breaks on you, if it breaks in a catastrophic manner. So there are downsides and risks, but I don't think people talk enough about the biggest upside is just the contentment and the pride that you have when you step back and look at your fish room like this. So, sorry to proselytize so much on this point. I'm probably getting a little too wordy right now, so I'll call it a day. I hope you guys enjoyed this little update on my newest setup, my newest aquarium. Please do consider researching Malagasy fish and consider keeping them yourself someday. They're very rewarding. And outside of that, guys, take it easy. I will see you next time.